Attention all seniors, pre-order your senior video today. If you pre-order by March 21st, it'll be only $25, and after that, it'll be $35. The senior video is on a USB flash drive, and it includes the entire Class of 2025 graduation, the pep rally, highlight edits of the senior prom and after prom, the superlative dance, the senior sunrise, theater productions, varsity sports, and more. And if you pre-order now, you'll get a bonus drive of Dartmouth's finest free. If you don't pre-order, you'll have to pay for it. Scan this QR code to pre-order the Class of 2025 senior video.
Welcome everybody back to DHS SportsCenter. Today I'm here with Dr. Baldwin, who is the Executive Director of the MIAA. Welcome, Dr. Baldwin.
Thank you so much for having me.
No problem. So first things first, do you want to talk a little bit about yourself and your backstory and how you became the director here at the MIAA?
Sure. I've kind of come back home. I started off playing high school sports and wanted to play in the big leagues, right? That was my dream, and I found out real quick that that wasn't going to happen. Yeah. So I went and played baseball at Springfield College and got my degree in physical education, but just definitely wanted to coach. And so I did end up coaching for a number of years, and then kind of moved into administrative roles from that. What I realized in hindsight is coaching, it's all about leadership, and it's all about trying to make things better for others. Went in to be an assistant principal, a superintendent for 16 years. The best way to describe that job is I'm the person who has school when you want it canceled, and I cancel school when you want to have it. So nobody's ever happy in that job. And then I kind of came back home again with this job because now I'm back into sports, overseeing interscholastic athletics, so I love it.
Yeah, and you've been a little bit, like you just said, you're a little bit local to here. You were the superintendent of Fairhaven, right?
Yes.
Before. For a couple of years?
Yes.
You've been...
I got my start, though.
Yeah.
Got my start in Dartmouth. So yeah. I started my career in Dartmouth. I was at the DeMello School. I probably taught some of the students' parents back then, so that shows my age. An amazing, amazing gentleman, Mr. Carlin Lynch, hired me. He was a mentor to me. I still, to this day, do and say so many things. And when I left Dartmouth, I did say to him, Mr. Lynch, no matter where I go, I want to make it the way you had it in Dartmouth. So wherever I've been, I learned through Mr. Lynch how to value people and make it about kids. And so I'm forever grateful to Dartmouth and Mr. Lynch for my start.
Yeah, that's excellent. So moving on from there, how has the MIAA evolved your leadership?
So hard for me to judge, right? But I think what we had was, in a very short way of putting it, is we're trying to be more consistent. We're trying to be more clear and direct so people know the rules of the game. We're trying to have an organizational structure so people know what they can do, what they can't do. When I look at things, a lot of times it seemed like you could make a phone call and get what you wanted if you got the right office. And we're trying to make it consistent so that whatever it is being upheld consistently for everybody. So initially, it's been about just trying to bring consistency and organizational structure to this association.
Nice. And what are the main goals for the MIAA in the next couple of years?
Growing courageous leaders. And what that means is all of your audience, yourself, who is going to be the next level. I think interscholastic athletics and sports is one of the last areas that can teach us how to lose, how to be humble when you win, how to be part of a team, how to show up on time, how to have commitment, how to work hard, how to train, how to make decisions. And so somewhere down the line, I'm passing on my torch to somebody. We need to find the coach to become the athletic director to become the principal to become the superintendent, and the students who are in interscholastic athletics to take that mantle as well and someday carry the torch of, like I talked to you about Mr. Lynch, well, who's going to follow that moving forward in Dartmouth? And there are so many that are. And then what are our students going to do as they get into society as well?
Nice. And a little bit, and you've seen it in the college level, in the collegiate level a little bit, NIL.
Yes.
The NIL, it might be in the next couple of years that we see the NIL move into interscholastic high school sports. What are your opinions on that?
So it is in high school sports. We actually adopted a policy 2 or 3 years ago. So, I don't want to give ads to local establishments, but you can all run down the street right now to local pizza joints. But no, in all seriousness, the NIL at the interscholastic level is here. We have a policy that tries to protect your amateurism. You need to be very careful with that. Somebody can, be sponsored by a lacrosse stick and get money for that. Believe it or not, at the high school level, it's allowed, but they can only use their name, their image, or their likeness. It can't say Dartmouth in front. It can't say, I'm a fullback on the football team, and I am. It needs to be very generic, but it is at the high school level, and we need to educate through your athletic director, your principal, and through us how you as student athletes maintain your amateurism. It's not at the level that it is at the NCAAs, but in isolated cases, it does exist at the high school level.
Yeah, that's awesome. So what factors go into scheduling into the MIAA tournament? Because a little bit here and there, people have been a little bit ticked off about some of the opinions that going into the playoffs, and some of the times court gets involved. So you want to speak on that a little bit? Yeah,
it's really, this talks about the consistency and the organizational structure early on. It's really about objectivity. We have a state power ranking that is absolutely a mathematical formula. And its predictability is around 85% of picking the top Final Four. And, people want home games. People want different seeds. And yet this objective power ranking will, through numbers, put you where you are. And so we have had different schools, talk about, well, we want to be this seed. And it's truly, truly not, when I coached in the past, it was all about record. So you could literally go travel to a team that's 18-2 and you're 10-10 and you made the tournament, but the 18-2 team might have played in a really weak conference, and now you travel to play that team and you beat them by 25, even though you were 10-10. What the power rankings does is it objectively puts people and places them so that, and it's pretty predictable in the way it works. So sometimes people are never happy with, what their seed is or why they didn't get placed where they were, but it's truly objective. It's not something that people sit in an office and subjectively say, this is how it's going to be.
Yeah. And I know we have players in here in our audience, and we have players all around, and sometimes they're a little bit, look at the power rankings, don't like the seed that they are.
Yep.
And I want to ask you, how accurate are the power rankings?
Very accurate, to the point where it's cool because, you watch the NCAAs, and I think there have been a couple, maybe now, 16 seeds that have beaten 1 seeds, which was unheard of. By and large, between 85% or higher of the top 4 teams are always the top 4 teams. That's a really good, percentage. And yet it's cool because we've had a 32 beat a 1. And this year in soccer, we had a team get red hot in Newton, and they won the state championship, and they were way up high. So the cool part is by getting in, there's the hope, but pretty much it's predictable in where you are. So factors in that is, playing stiffer competition because it is a mathematical formula will, the strength of your opponent and winning games and so forth. But pretty much the better teams are winning. And I know that's a tough pill to swallow when your team loses, but usually it's the way it should be, right? The better team should win the state championship.
So moving on from there, how does the MIAA determine the host sites for championship games, like Final Four games and all that kind of stuff?
So up until the Final Four, or sometimes the Elite 8, it's home and home. So the better record, the better seed gets the home game. So that's why people get all, I want a home game, or I want to have the better seed. So early on, it's about getting a home game. Once we get to the finals, I'm going to tell you, it's really difficult. You're trying to pick an electric environment. One of the most electric environments that exists is the SportsCenter in Lowell for basketball. It is like, it seats about 4,500. It's a lower bowl. Last year, the Division II and Division I championships, it was rocking in that place. You know, that's the ideal goal. How do you not love sending your team to Gillette? But the thing about Gillette is, it's cool when the kids go in and look around and say, oh my God, I'm in the same field and stadium. But at some of the lower division games, you're barely filling a section. And so even though you want the noise and the excitement, so you're trying to find a happy medium, and you're also trying to find a place that's equitable for all. You can't send 4 divisions to the Garden and 4 other divisions to UMass Dartmouth. So you're trying to find equity in where you play. You're trying to find a site that's electric. And in some cases, tournaments decide to go to local spots in which they are more localized in maybe a region. Like a few years ago, Scituate hosted 2 South Shore teams, and the place was full because of that. See, you want it to just be a great experience.
Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
And we've seen it, especially at Gillette. Dartmouth hasn't been to the Super Bowl in 10 years, but like I've seen schools like your Fairhaven High School. They went to the Super Bowl this year and last year, and I'll tell you, I could hear the crowd noise. They were rocking, and it's crazy over there, and it's, you know, it's a great experience when you look at it.
It really is.
So what do you consider the biggest accomplishment as the executive director here at the MIAA?
Again, it's tough for the person who's, but I would say that what we're trying to do is build relationships one person at a time. So coming here today, I'm having a ball. And so whether you agree or disagree or like or don't like, the bottom line is there's a name to a face. And we're trying to do that with our ADs, with our principals. We will go anywhere. We will talk to anyone. A lot of times the MIAA can be the big bad place that makes all the rules. We're not. The members make the rules, and we just, if they're brought to our attention, make sure that they're enforced in an equitable and fair manner. But ultimately, our job is to listen to you, listen to student athletes, listen to athletic directors, listen to principals, and do what's in the best interest of the greater good. So, you know, our job is really to build relationships with all of our member schools, 382 of them, and try and get out there as much as we can.
Awesome. So what is the MIAA doing to improve in like communication with schools, coaches, and student athletes?
Mm-hmm. Things like this, not saying no to anything, going anywhere we can. We have about 7 or 8 individuals in our office that work that we've assigned. We're 9 different regional districts. So Western Mass is a district, Central Mass is 2 and 3. This happens to be 8 and 9 with the South Coast and the South Shore. And what we're trying to do is assign a liaison to each district so that we can go to their meetings, listen to what they're doing. We put out, every 2 weeks, we put out a newsletter with what's new and updated. We have Franklin TV in Franklin, Mass, where we put on shows. We come to places like this. You know, there's nothing wrong with being transparent and open with people and speaking our truth. So we're trying more and more and more to do that.
And my next question is, how does the MIAA support student athletes who may not go on to play in a collegiate level or like anywhere else? I mean,
so our job is not to be a trainer for somebody to get to the college level. Our job is to provide a welcoming, safe environment, a sense of belonging through your schools. I think I've been saying this in a couple of classes. I think it's 92 to 93% of student athletes, even though they have dreams and aspirations, play their last interscholastic game in high school. They don't move on. And so, you know, teamwork, camaraderie, commitment, learning how to lose, learning how to win. Those are all life skills that when you're 30 and 40 and 50 years old, you're successful because you learn that in sport. And those are the qualities that need to be projected to young people. When you're growing courageous leaders, you need to grow them to be good human beings. And I think sport can be a great teacher of that. Our job is not to grow future college athletes. It's going to happen, and we're proud of them when they become that. But at the same time, if the greater good is 92 to 93%, we love the 7% that go on, but we also have to be there for the whole.
Yeah. Moving on from there, what are the steps the MIAA has taken to like address a little bit about of the shortages of coaches and referees?
So the National Federation of High Schools has a campaign called Bench Bad Behavior. They're trying to put that out across the country. Basically, there shouldn't be bad behavior. And a lot of that bad behavior is behavior that maybe a coach gets too emotional. I was an athletic coach. I never did. I was always calm and cool and collected. But anyway, hopefully I'm too old that there's any videos that exist of that. But you know, we need to be respectful to officials. They are trying to do the right thing, make the right calls. We need to be supportive of them. Unfortunately, sometimes fans get a little too emotional. They get so caught up in loving their kid and loving their team that they forget how to act in events. So we need to be there for our officials with support. We need to make sure that they're compensated fairly. And what Dartmouth is doing is we need to grow new officials. And this whole ref reps thing that you're doing is so impressive. We need to have young people get certified through us to make money and do freshman and middle school games with veteran officials and learn how to grow thick skin. And what that means is you've made a call, you think it's the right call, and 6 people in the crowd disagree. And what a great trait that is to learn in life, is to how to persevere through outside influence. But you're also going to make some money in doing that, and you could have a career that could be helpful and grow the pool of officials moving forward. So I commend Dartmouth for doing this.
Yeah. And we get an applause for that, though. All right, so my last question here is, I know you were a coach a little bit for a long time, and you saw players like Jessica Gasper from Dartmouth High School. And right now we have a new player that just broke the scoring record here at Dartmouth High, Kat Cheeseborough, and she just scored her 2,000th point last night, which is such an excellent achievement. Let's get an applause for that. How about that?
That's awesome.
So my last question is, what are your thoughts on Kat Cheeseborough, and who would win on a 1v1 against each other?
Well, Kat would win right now because Jessica's old, right? And I say that with all fondness because when I started here, I coached under Coach Gaspar, and his little kids were running around the gym, and one of them was Jess, and she was amazing. Yeah. And when I talk about people who, oh, you're not going to North Carolina, she did.
Yeah.
She went to North Carolina and played on a basketball there. She was amazing. She was tough, and Kat is amazing as well. So probably something that couldn't happen. It could only happen through AI, right? Because of what would be like in their ages now. But I think what's awesome is sports are through the years, and there's an era of the Jess Gaspars, and there's an era of the Kat Cheeseboroughs, and hopefully, you know, it's been a while. Hopefully in 10 to 15 years, somebody's been watching Kat and saying, I'm going to be her someday. And I think that's a message to all of your student athletes here, is that there are little people watching you. And they watch you you may not think you're important, but you're very important. They are watching how your mannerisms, they're watching everything you do. And I think you need to realize that they want to be like you someday, so show them how to be. And most of that is acting how you should be as a student athlete.
Yeah, and we have some of the hockey players that are here in attendance right now in the audience. So, I mean, this is a great message that you just said, because, like, there are some kids that, like, maybe, like, under the age of 13 years old and watching the game right now, seeing these kids, and they're going to be like, wow, next couple of years, hopefully I'll be like in their shoes.
I'm blinded by the hair. The hair's kind of blinding me right now. With they dyed the hair, right? Very blonde. Okay, all right. So one thing about that, my son wanted to play college baseball, and I learned afterwards he'd go to these tournaments, and you know, you're worried about, oh my God, is he going to go 3 for 4? Is he going to go 0 for 5 with strikeouts? And what I learned was a lot of scouts and recruiters went to watch the team, and this is for all the student athletes in the crowd, get off the bus, get their equipment, warm up, watch how they interacted, watch how they warmed up, watch how they were with their other teammates and players, and left before the game started.
Yeah.
because it's about who you are and what kind of human being you are when these people are making these decisions. So you might be really talented, but they're also, eyes are always watching you. And whether it's your hockey players who are here today that the youth are watching and how they act, it's no different. You are looked up to in their eyes by those young people just as that is. So it's an important lesson to learn.
Yeah, it's very important. Well, thank you for coming on today. So this is a little bit of my freebie autographed ball. So if you want to take one, I got baseball, volleyball, tennis, football, soccer.
All right. I used to coach basketball, so if you don't mind, I'll take a basketball.
All right.
In honor of Jess and Kat.
All right.
There's no hockey puck, so I can't take a hockey.
Yeah, we need some hockey pucks.
All right.
Well,
all right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.